Good morning, friends and colleagues. I thank Shri Prashant Kumar, President of the Bar Association of India, for inviting me to join in this commemorative event to remember and celebrate the life of the late Shri Fali Nariman. I pay a solemn tribute from a jurisdiction outside India to this great advocate. The late Fali Nariman was well known to the bar in my country when, as the president of Lawyer Asia in the 80s, he visited Malaysia often and took part in the Law Asia conferences hosted by us and in our own annual conferences. A place was always reserved for him to address a plenary session because of his great skills of speech and advocacy. He almost always spoke of the Indian Constitution and of the great advances made by the Indian Supreme Court, and of course, some of the regresses during an earlier period. I got to know him well on his visits and was struck by his sense of humor and the inevitable chuckle in his voice. He was a known jurist and a prolific writer of legal articles and books. From this plenitude of material, there was one piece that caught my interest, his article on the importance of advocacy in constitutional cases. He wrote of the need for a good advocate in the field of constitutional law to be driven by what he termed, and I quote, the requisite aspiration, an aspiration which he defined later as the need for the courts to take custody of the Constitution, presumably from a passing or root majority in Parliament. In this piece, he traced the arguments of the advocates in the great constitutional cases in your country over a 70-year period, advancing the frontiers of safeguards and liberties, in particular, the incremental steps leading to the acceptance of the basic structure doctrine in constitutional law. This doctrine today enjoys a diaspora beyond India. Great judgments originate from great arguments at the bar. I had no doubt as I read the article that the late Fali Nariman was speaking of himself and of his own experiences, although in typical fashion was too modest to acknowledge it. His career at the private bar, and I believe a stint in public service, was geared towards adherence to the rule of law, and to those in authority, a reminder from the old adage attributed to Thomas Fuller, be you ever so high, the law is above you. Ladies and gentlemen, great advocates and great judges share a common platform in remembrance. They remain on record in the law reports for posterity, never to be forgotten. Truly, it may be said of this great advocate, as Longfellow said, and I quote, when a great man dies, for years the light he leaves behind lies on the paths of men. Unquote. I take this opportunity to convey my wishes on this solemn occasion to Justice Rohinton and to all members of the family of this great advocate and to the Bar of India. Thank you.